How do we turn our kids into convenient objects for sexual abuse? My name is Lana Bugela. I am a hypnotherapist and a subconscious mind expert. And recently I was on TikTok and I found a horrifying video. That video made me even cry.
Hi everybody. So I sent a survey one time to convicted child molesters in the penitentiary here in Oklahoma. I mailed out 600 questionnaires. They had 18 questions on them each, and 200 of them answered those questionnaires and sent them back. All but one of those 200 had molested someone they either knew or they were related to. So 199 out of the 200 molested someone they knew, not a stranger. And it was interesting to me that it almost always happened in the victim's house. And the three things they told these kids were, one, they simply said, just don't tell anybody. One person did threaten the child, but the others told the victim they would get into trouble, which is something that we need to talk to kids about, of course.
In that video, one woman told that she made a small questionnaire and she has sent that questionnaire to like 100 of people who abused kids. And like, I can be mistaken in the numbers, but still a lot of them replied and gave her the answers. And what was shocking is that a lot of people who abused kids, they made those kids to be silent by one thing. They threatened those kids that they will tell everything to their parents and that their parents and their friends will find everything out and that it is very shameful and it is very bad. And those kids, they were silent themselves. So they were horrified by those people who molested them. They were horrified to tell about their situation to their parents. And that made me even cry because, you know, I'm working a lot with adults and I regress them back to the root cause of their problems. And very often we are regressed to the scenes where they have been abused, raped, molested, and so on. I never knew that so many people were abused. And I also had that feeling that I need to make some kind of a research to understand what is happening there. So I've created some statistics, so I've gathered some statistics about that. And you know, like I had 50 sessions approximately when I was counting at that time. 50 sessions with adults who had in their history that kind of abuse, like sexual abuse. They were raped, basically. And they were raped being children from 5 years old till 12. So that was the range, and it is shocking. And 49 of them didn't tell anyone about this situation. And a lot of them told me after my session that I was the first one who found out about that. And they also said that, you know, first of all, I wanted to ask you to be silent. I understood that, well, you won't tell anyone, obviously, because you are a hypnotherapist. You're not supposed to share this information. But I thought about that like in my childhood. Oh, please don't tell anyone. Like in that kind of voice, in those words. Can you imagine that? And then they say like, I stopped myself and like I understood that I'm a mature adult and it's like wrong to think like that. So guys, 49 out of 50. I had way more clients who were raped, molested, abused, but I just stopped counting there because I had enough. And what I'm trying to say here, that we are as parents, we make our kids those victims by ruining our trust, by ruining our relationships, by trying to show to our kids that we have an authority, that we need to be respected, that they need to be good, that they need to be someone in order to be loved. We just broadcast that idea to our kids, and that is horrifying because they are so afraid of telling something to us that they are silent even when they are raped. That made me cry. And I want you just to hear, to feel, to understand that the only weapon that you have against those crazy people who are trying to abuse your kids, the only weapon is trust between you and your child. So if you have this trust, your kid will always come to you, tell everything, and that person who wants to molest your child wouldn't be able to manipulate your child. Because your child will say, I don't care, I'm going to mom. And of course you can say, well, it can be dangerous because the child can be killed or whatever when they say something like that. But guys, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like real basic situation. Don't go there, don't run away from what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that trust is essential. Yeah, of course, it's not everything, but trust is essential. Because I found the video of a lady who said that a lot of guys were raping, they are like mostly men. They were raping kids, and those kids didn't tell anyone because they were threatened that it is bad and it will have consequences, and like if everybody knows about that, you will be like full of shame and so on. So they just manipulated them. But one more important thing, those people who were raping, molesting and abusing kids, they were close to the family. They were caregivers, babysitters, uncle, aunts, grandma, grandpas. Just imagine that. So, if your child has someone in your inner circle who is capable to abuse them, your child needs to have you by their side like a safety island. They need to know in their guts, in their subconscious mind, that if their grandpa starts doing something weird, they can come to you, tell you that, and you will be on their side. So this is basically what I'm trying to say here. You need to build that trust. And a lot of parents think that they have this trust, but it's not true. They hope to have that trust, but hoping and having, these are two different things. So here, guys, just one more time, check your trust between you and your child. And of course, like the second thing is to have a conversation on sexual boundaries. And that conversation is useful and you need to have that conversation. By the way, drop me comments below if you need an instruction how to talk to your child about sex so that your kid won't be a victim of sexual abuse. If you want this video, please write down in the comments that yes, I need it, please do it for me. And I will count how many comments are there and I will decide whether to do it or not. So, this conversation is essential, but it means nothing without trust. So trust is the first thing. Without trust, this conversation can even make everything worse. Why? Because if you talk to your kid and you say, okay, if somebody touches you here and there, it is wrong. If somebody touches you here, like by the hand, shaking your hand, it's okay. Your mom can wash you, can touch those parts. These parts are private, so no one can touch them except you, and so on. So of course, if you talk to your child like that, your kid will understand everything. But when it happens with a caregiver, with a stranger, with a family member, so your child will feel that I did something wrong. My mom told me. My mom told me like not to do that. My mom told me blah, 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 and I did it. And they will feel even more guilt. Again, without trust. So if you do have trust, that's not a problem and this conversation is useful. But without trust, you're kind of trapped there. So how to build that trust? Guys, to build that trust, you don't need to focus on that trust. What? Yes, you don't need to focus on the trust. You need to focus on other things. First one is to work on yourself. You need to be free of major traumas. free of major limiting beliefs from your childhood. For example, if you feel like you are not valued, you feel like you are a bad or mom or dad, if you feel like you are not good enough and so on, everything that your child does will just hurt you. Because your child will be a trigger. And when you are triggered, you have your own emotions and you can't connect from that point. Because you will nurture your traumas instead of looking at your kid and being involved. So the most important thing is to work through your personal traumas. And next thing, of course, we can't work everything out and be like, like a ball flying here and there, like round, squishy, smiley. No, we are humans. We have problems, we have situations, we have deadlines, we have bills to pay, and a lot of other things. So, when you understand that you have some problem, for example, your kid doesn't want to eat that dinner, and you've spent ages cooking that dinner, special dinner for your kid because your child is picky eater and you tried your best and they say, I don't want it. And you feel that pain and you say, oh my God, I'm so tired. I've been cooking for you. I've been dancing around you, blah, 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 blah. And that outburst is your trauma. So, of course, you will have that. You can't be that round, squishy ball flying around. So, sometimes you will have those situations. And in those situations, you need to be able to stop yourself right there and say to yourself, okay, now I'm speaking out of my inner child. And when two children are talking, there will be no solution. They will fight. So now, I am putting my inner child a little bit aside. I will talk to them later. And I will solve this problem later, but now I need to be a mature adult and to talk to my kid out of that point. So that skill of distinguishing your own emotions and feelings from your child's and being able not to act out of your inner kid, but to act out of your inner adult and to be that supportive adult to your kid, that is essential. So this is like the step 2. First, work on yourself. Second, be aware and stop yourself when you are acting out of your own traumas. Third thing, when everything is done here, be involved. Be involved into your kid. Have that quality time. Don't look into your phone when you are with kid. And spend some time. Ask, what is it that your kid likes? What is it that your kid dislikes? Why? Without judgment. Try to explore their personality. Try to read what they read. Try to watch what they watch. Don't be too obsessed because you need to be a person too and to show that you are a person. But you need, this circle is you. This circle is your kid and you need to be interconnected like that. But not like that completely when you cannot separate yourself from your kid and both of you are choking because you just can't stand that closeness. So you need to be a little bit separated, but at the moment, you need to understand that you are like some part of the time you are like that, some part like that, some part like that, and you are just going here and there, but you are connected. You have your own space, your child also, but you have those connection points. So that is extremely important. This is the third thing that needs to be done. And when it's done, you will feel like the trust is built. So there is no sense on focusing on the trust, but there is a huge sense to focus on those 3 things that I've mentioned earlier. So please try to do that. If you try, at least try is better than nothing. And of course you'll fail sometimes, a lot of times. But when you get up and continue, that will make everything happen. So at some moment you will realize that there is that trust. And alongside with that, please talk to your kid about sexual abuse, about sexual boundaries. And again, if you want that video to be there, just please write down the comment below. And also guys, put that thumb up. That is very important for me because I need to understand if this topic talks to you or not. Next thing. So you did all those 3 things, you've built that trust, and one more thing that is missing, you need to be not just involved in your kid like into a body, but you also need to be involved in your kid like into a kid. What does it mean? You need to know everything about their stages of development. And when a child is supposed to speak out about their feelings, you need to learn that alongside with them. When your child is supposed to, process some feelings in another way, not like just an outburst of anger, but they can process that anger in a different way, you need to teach them that. You need to know about their cognitive intelligence. So if you also need those instructions about cognitive intelligence when your child is developing from one stage to another, what to do on each stage, how to help them. If you need that instruction, please let me know in the comments also, because by your interest, I'll create more and more videos on this topic. So, let's summarize everything that we have. People who abuse children, they use that lack of trust between you and your kid. Don't give that weapon to them. Take it back, build that trust. How to build that trust? First, work on yourself, get rid of your limiting beliefs, your traumas. Overcome them. Second, be aware and stop yourself at the moment when you are going into your traumas again. Third, be involved in your kid, have that quality time. And fourth, know everything about their stages of development and help them out on each step. And one more thing to do is to have that conversation about sexual abuse, sexual boundaries, and that will help you a lot only when the trust is built. And guys, also don't forget to watch my previous video, and it is about jealousy to our own kids, how to stop being jealous for our own kids. And of course, sometimes we just don't notice that feeling, we are trying to hide it because we think that it's not good to be jealous, and it's not good to be jealous for our own kids. So guys, if you are interested, please go to that video, click that button and watch it right now. And I'll see you in the next videos. My name is Lana Bugela, and remember, you need first to work with yourself and only then to work with your kids, because kids are our reflections.